Hello, this is World University and Schools News and Monthly Business Meeting on Saturday, February 28th, February 21st, February 21st, 2023. And I'm newly in what could be considered a new main office in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for World University and School, as we seek to begin to license and accredit in the state of Pennsylvania and with the Middle States Commission on Higher Education, with offices in greater Philadelphia area. A huge set of steps for us. So here's Larry as well. He is potentially now an abolition auditor, maybe at WUaS and on the accreditation committee, and part of this WUaS monthly business meeting process. And one new item I'd like to include in this agenda is the possibility of developing this monthly business meeting approach to growing World University and School organizationally, even in all 200 countries. So could Japan World University and School have a monthly business meeting process?
Yeah, but not at the same time, because the time difference is a big problem.
True. And on top of that, could we develop committees out of the monthly business meeting to, in America, focus the development of America, not at the same time as committee meetings, say, in Nigeria or in one of the other 200 countries. And in a related vein, one of the questions that has emerged to me is having been listed in the Pittsburgh Friends meeting directory last month for the first time, having come to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania from California on an asylum journey in August and September of 2022, is could we possibly emerge even out of the Pittsburgh Quaker meeting as a main office gathering place for World University and School, maybe once a month on Saturdays, third Saturdays. And in that process, I'm just going to get the cord plugged back in here. In that process, could we explore doing this maybe in other countries? And then I would also potentially return to California with World University and School to Canyon 94516 in September of 2023. And so we could explore having a base at the Pittsburgh Quaker meeting and also online out of Pittsburgh, with Larry being the head of this new main office. So another role. So these are interesting possibilities for World University and Schools collaborations, and even as a friendly Quaker leading, having become a nonprofit 501c3 and an exempt legal entity back in 2010, 13 years ago, and having become a for-profit general stock company in California only as a legal entity in 2017. So getting to the agenda for World University and School, we have, for the first time in a long time, put a request for donations prominently in the agenda and news for World University and School for seeking monies for licensing and accrediting. And as I understand it, the licensing fee with the state of Pennsylvania's Department of Education will be $5,000, and we'll get in touch with a higher education associate out of the state of Pennsylvania's Department of Education, thanks to communications with Michelle Simmons there. And with Middle States Commission on Higher Education, the I think pre-application fee towards a long process for accreditation possibly is $1,500. So we're looking for $6,500 in the next week or two, or as soon as possible. And then after that, I think it's another $5,000. Last time I checked with the Middle States Commission on Higher Education for the application fee. But we're going to get in touch further with Diana Bonner at the Middle States Commission on Higher Education soon, having not heard back to an email to her last Monday, to find out more specifically how these two organizations will relate further: Middle States Commission on Higher Education and State of Pennsylvania's Department of Education for licensing. So we're seeking potentially $50 donations from a large number of people, so we can all chip in and sort of spread these licensing and accreditation fees around, and also because we only have about $1,000 in the bank for the World University and School Bank account. Any thoughts about this, Larry?
I think you said it well.
Great. So just checking to see if other people will join us. It's been very helpful in the past when people have joined us in this open monthly business meeting, conducted loosely in the manner of Quakers. So around a kind of consensus and listening, and as also a kind of friendly Quaker leading for my developing World University and School over these 15 years without remuneration yet whatsoever. So the process here seeks to be inclusive. Presently, and for many years, it's Larry and myself for the most part. But we have had other people attending monthly business meeting, as well as the WUaS News and Question and Answers on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, such as Tilak Reina Magar in Itahari, Nepal, 7,700 miles away, on Monday, January 16th. So this is an opportunity for idea sharing and engaging the business of developing World University and School in new ways. An amazing opportunity thanks to the web and real-time video conferencing. So again, licensing fees for World University and Schools exempt 501c3 federal wing will be $5,000 with the state of Pennsylvania's Department of Education, and $1,500 with Middle States Commission on Higher Education's pre-application fee. The PayPal link is on worlduniversityandschool.org website, and I'll also post it more clearly and prominently to the two blog posts with this agenda and news as well for February 21st, 2023. So agenda item 2, just a little bit of history. We received the PA Department of Education authorization email and phone call from, I think, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania on Thursday, January 26th. Thanks to Michelle Simmons, and glad this process is proceeding. I think we first talked about in California licensing and accreditation in 2013 or something, a long time ago. And we received a call from Diana Bonner at Middle States Commission on Higher Education, who I think is our liaison, with the green light to proceed with contacting the state of Pennsylvania to begin licensing on Thursday, January 12th, 2023. We've also, just out of this very basement office of Larry Veland's here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, sent in the Franchise Tax Board in California's questionnaire, a reply to FTB, State of California Franchise Tax Board questionnaire, asking for a 2020, 3 years ago, 199 end card asking about it. And in this email, paper mail we sent back, we said that we were opening a second main office in Pittsburgh. Thanks also to, in a related vein regarding the WS Corporation, to Tom Martin at LawDroid for helping us incorporate the WUaS Corporation with a chatbot artificial intelligence program out of a messaging service that he brought to a Stanford Law Codex presentation where he talked, and after which it took about 10 minutes to generate these articles of incorporation in 2017, and offering amazing synergies between our two wings, the World University and School exempt legal entities and the for-profit general stock company WS Corporation legal entity in California. This possibility for writing articles of incorporation and that also they're kind of a legal hack, an ethical legal hack, open up other ways for World University and School, the WS Corporation, to seek to grow as we seek potentially to code for all the people on the planet, 7.9 billion people on the planet, each a Wikidata PIN number. And for wiki teaching and learning, free universal education, people to people, and also potentially on the WS Corporation side, to end poverty, perhaps by distributing a single cryptocurrency like Stanford MindPi. And that would be through partnering with Stanford MindPi with the WS Corporation and listing the WS Corporation on the new Silicon Valley long-term stock exchange, which I think only has 2 companies on it right now. Asana, which like yoga asana, yoga poses, and Twilio, I think are the only 2 companies listed on the Stanford, on the long-term stock exchange out of Silicon Valley. So in seeking to code for all 7.9 billion people, and with this chatbot AI software from LawDroid that writes articles of incorporation, and seeking also to protect people from the illegal sex and drug industries and similar as we code for all 7.9 billion people, could we potentially share these in the countries in the US states that allow it, this articles of incorporation legal software, so that people could incorporate themselves, for example, if they were a possible risk or a danger or a criminal, and thus become legal, is one question. If we can distribute Stanford MindPi to all 7.9 billion people. And so these questions are unfolding, but this is all with regard to licensing and accrediting, and potentially protecting people. And with these 3 legal entities, 1 a federal legal entity, and 2 state of California legal entities that are developing. Agenda item 3, glad for World University. Thoughts about that, Larry, before we move on? That's a mouthful.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Keep going.
Agenda item 3, glad for WUaS to have joined the Google Education Group from Pennsylvania, GEG Pennsylvania, and to have inquired about how we can further develop with GEG Pennsylvania, perhaps reaching out to all the prospective students in Pennsylvania through Google, GEG Pennsylvania, who might be interested in free MIT OpenCourseware centric degrees from their homes. And these degrees would include bachelor, PhD, law, medicine, IB high school, the AA and master's degrees on also a Google platform. And by seeking to grow for World University and School to grow through the GEG Pennsylvania platform, there's the possibility that World University and School would also be able to receive reimbursement for our free degrees from Pennsylvanians, and potentially on the Google Cloud organization platform for billing as well, which we just got further developments with. So Google educators groups as avenues for World University and School to grow, not only in Pennsylvania or the 5 states in Middle States Commission on Higher Education, which include New York and New Jersey and Maryland and Delaware, but also internationally. I think they cover Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, but also especially in India, for example. There are at least 22 official languages in India out of about 470 by one count. We would like to offer our free degrees online, potentially through GEG India, GEG Punjab, GEG Pune, GEG Ahmedabad, GEG Amritsar, and similar. And I'm in touch with some Google Education India educators in these regards. And who knows, does even one of their leaders, Dr. Vishal Varia, maybe in GEG Pune, know Sundar Pichai, the chair and CEO of both Google and Alphabet. Ongoing inquiry and hoping we can develop out of GEG Google educators groups and reach students in all 200 countries and in their main languages on a WUaS Google platform, and with reimbursement as well. So being able to license and accredit will be part of this significantly. As I just said, this is agenda item 4. World University and School received the Google Cloud organization with billing a couple of weeks ago. Amazing, a great development. There's a lot of parts to the Google ecosystem and the Google education ecosystem. And this is a tremendous development also because World University and School doesn't have any money. It's free. And that's also astounding, and potentially also in our exploring online free degrees in 200 countries and even coding for all 7.9 billion people on the planet, each a Wikidata PIN number. World University and School recently received an email from an Eric Wynand, W-E-Y-N-A-N-D, and his Plot Path Finance company in Austin, Texas, who is a CPA and has a certified public accountancy firm, and potentially for both WUaS wings. And as World University and School explores further developing in the Google Cloud organization above. So I think I would like to say thank you to Brendan Chan of the Harvard Graduate School of Education, and formerly a lead at Google Education. He's doing his education doctorate, his PhD in a sense, in the Harvard Graduate School of Education, and say thank you also to, I think I'd like to say thank you also to Harvard Graduate School of Education Professor Karen Brennan, with whom I think Brendan Chan is working with. Since Brendan Chan went to the University of Texas, Austin, and so did Eric Wynand, having a certified public accountant who might be familiar with the QuickBooks and the Google Cloud organization, if we can work with them, given our strapped finances, but with great potential return for Eric Wynand's company, would be amazing. Larry Wieland has, for a number of years, done the WS finance reports, but he's not a CPA, although he has a sharp pencil. And the possibility to have an organization, if we were to get a large grant from the federal government that would begin to pay people salaries out of the U.S. State Department or the Education Department. I think it would be very valuable to have the infrastructure of a Google cloud organization to help with these finance questions, because they will get complex quickly, especially if we can code for 7.9 billion people, and if we can distribute a single cryptocurrency, a main single cryptocurrency like Stanford MinePi to all of the above, and get reimbursements from nation states, departments of education, maybe with a cryptocurrency, who knows? Google has 170,000 employees, and part of the process for exploring a possible CPA for World University and School would be how they would relate to the Google Cloud organization. And Eric Winan, it looks like from what I've seen on the web, has worked with Google before. One of the questions I asked him in an email was, what are the advantages to finding and working with a CPA in Texas, say, compared with California, when I'm planning to move back, which I'm planning to move back to in September of 2023 from this asylum place in Pittsburgh, or with a CPA in India. And while we haven't heard back yet, I'm optimistic that he and his company would be interested in taking on this project, given its potential to scale and grow. Stay tuned. We have nothing in writing, and we're continuing to develop, WUaS is continuing to develop our relationship with Google in many, many different ways. We've been in Google Education since 2015. We just got this Google Cloud organization email notice, and we're seeking to also comply with Google's updated terms in the Google Cloud, Google Workspace. That's an agenda item, just a few items down. We just got a legal notice saying these are the updates to the Google Workspace legal aspects, and we want to comply. We want to engage those to maintain our good relationship with Google, which is hopefully growing month by month. So on to item 5, World University and School. In seeking to become the Stanford, MIT, Harvard, Oxbridge of the internet, and in each of 200 countries as major online OCW-centric universities, and in these countries' main languages, as well as wiki schools for teaching and learning for speakers of all 7,150 known living languages, is seeking to develop wiki schools that will facilitate people-to-people teaching and learning. And this focus on becoming highest quality online education for wiki, engaging Stanford and MIT and Harvard and Oxbridge, potentially by hiring their PhDs, hiring their postdocs to be interns and teach to the MIT OpenCourseWare courses, for example, as instructors, as graduate student instructors, will also involve creating communities, building communities in all 7,000 languages, and building highest quality communities of wiki teachers and learners. There will be an aspect of this that we'll learn from Wikipedia in their 300 languages, Wikidata, which is their backend structured native database, which we're in as well since around 2015. But how to make flourishing and excellent this Wiki World University and School is an interesting question as we plan to code for all 7.9 billion people on the planet. Education can be transformative, and wiki education especially changes the whole dynamic of online teaching and learning from that which is degree oriented, where people seeking their degrees and seeking careers out of their degrees learn things in specific ways thus maybe to teach them or to develop their own career paths. On the wiki side, there's a whole nother set of opportunities to create a kind of community of teaching and learning, a learning community, a conversation that might be very different from the degree-focused, free degree-focused wing and sides of World University and School. Wiki World University and School is a key aspect of World University and School that may even allow us to code for all 7.9 billion people as well. The wiki's been up. We've been through 3 wikis. It's been the new one's been working since the late 2010s, around 2017 or 2018. So agenda item 7, how with ChatGPT, which is a conversational chat software set of developments that is quite sophisticated. How can we develop our wiki sites and perhaps our degree sites as well with ChatGPT, such that perhaps teachers and learners could even engage with ChatGPT as their teachers and learners. So this is the emergence of possibly digital teachers, since ChatGPT is being used in philosophical circles, in being used for mathematical questions and similar. It's also, for example, in many languages, maybe 100 languages, including Korean. And what it is optimizing language models for dialogue. And ChatGPT folks have trained a model called ChatGPT, which interacts in conversational ways. So the university can be viewed as each course as a conversation between students and teachers. And this will open maybe a whole nother set of developments in World University and School, growing out of MIT OpenCourseWare in its 4 or 5 languages. One of the interesting questions is how could ChatGPT grow to affect how students learn in new ways, different from teachers, in its conversational aspects. So in a related vein, could one begin to conceive of ChatGPT and related large language models as conscious, as aware, as sentient, as having mind? And this is a recent talk by the philosopher of mind, David Chalmers, as well. And he argues at this point that ChatGPT does not have consciousness because it does not have subjective experience. But when ChatGPT or teachers, when ChatGPT does gain subjective experience, potentially as a teacher, that will affect potentially how it teaches, just as human teachers who are conscious can be really excellent teachers, perhaps the more conscious they are of how students learn, of the students they're engaging with in a conversational fashion. Much potential for ChatGPT. World University and School would like to build out of similar models, but in the Google platform, not necessarily ChatGPT itself. Where these large language models get their data from, and how World University and School could help build these data sets in all the academic disciplines, for space travel, for even coding consciousness itself, which is an intractable philosophical problem at this time, are interesting questions. but an amazing potential here. And in comparison to Stanford and MIT and Harvard and Oxbridge, for example, if we can focus this in our whole platform, in our whole information technology ecosystems, in brand new ways compared with physical on-the-ground universities that have also human teachers. Stay tuned. So item 8, recently there was a Google educator group, Ahmedabad, about the use of AI tools for productivity, and touched on a number of ChatGPT items, but it was good to know that in some ways we used AI software in terms of productivity, this is an economic word as well, to create our WUaS Corporation articles of incorporation back in 2017. There's lots of things to play with ChatGPT and other related AI tools, including in art and music and audio and philosophy. So it's a fun time for the internet with this new development with AI tools, with ChatGPT, because people can play around with these tools. This has been one aspect that is continued to help the internet grow. Hacking is one definition of playing around. Well, this ChatGPT AI software that's conversant is opening whole new other avenues. When one sees the potential, say from an India perspective, and how people in India, 1.3 billion people, total population, might begin to play with these new ChatGPT AI tools and create even new further developments from this now fascinating AI conversational potential. And in each of their languages and in each of 200 countries, the opportunities for growing world university and school, wiki teaching and learning, and facilitating a vision for learning around computer science and artificial intelligence is kind of astounding. Larry here is an alumnus of MIT from 1969 in chemistry and physics. That institution will continue on, and we're engaging MIT OpenCourseWare in these regards, thanks to the MIT vision of making their courses freely available to all anyone on the planet with Creative Commons 4 licensing. We want to take this further in new directions and in directions that we all develop together, and for free degrees on the one hand, and wiki schools on the other. So there's some good AI tools for productivity in the agenda and news on both World University and School blogs. One of the questions further regarding ChatGPT and AI software and for learning, and with a specific research project in mind for World University and School that would seek to have many graduate students and students in 4-credit courses and in degree programs, has to do with the building of a realistic virtual Earth, a realistic virtual Harbin Hot Springs. And out of this learning salon with David Chalmers on January 20th, 2023, Friday, has emerged this question of whether we could create a realistic virtual Harbin ethnography. So a kind of virtual world book that would be interactive, immersive, creating new forms of narrativity, publishable in Google Street View with Time Slider as an ongoing research project in both ethnography and science, technology, engineering, mathematics subjects with Google Translate, so large language model. Could we create a realistic virtual Harbin ethnography to become conscious itself? These are fascinating and challenging research questions, and the potential for generating all kinds of data while at Harbin, actually physically, while at a virtual Harbin, that would contribute to possibly making a realistic virtual Harbin conscious itself is immense. A lot of what computer science emerges from are data sets, and things like ChatGPT, AI, conversation draw from these data sets. How these data sets emerge for learning and research are ongoing iterative processes. If such data sets and such computer science emerges in a single realistic virtual Earth, realistic virtual universe for space travel too, it's how the AI and how computer scientists and people create this realistic virtual Earth that will further inform their questions into computer science, into chemistry, into physics, into anthropology. As this AI becomes conscious, possibly, it may be a completely intractable question, how to make a realistic virtual Earth itself, this digital creation, conscious, or how to code, how to make ChatGPT conscious to have subjective experience, for example. But the quest, the ongoing scientific research into what this involves, what happens in the brain at the cellular and molecular level, with our own subjective experience, and also from a scientific perspective, researchers sending with brainwave headsets signals into the brain at the cellular and atomic levels, and correlating them with consciousness. So the third person objective view and the first person view to create further understandings of the science of consciousness. This gets into knowing fundamental chemistry, fundamental physics, as we research these questions about how you could make even aspects of a realistic virtual Earth conscious. This is a stretch. These are new ways of conceiving of sort of the generativity of computer science and its potentials. But thanks to this ongoing research of all kinds of philosophers of mind, philosophers of consciousness, like Dave Chalmers, and this recent panel, could a large language model itself be conscious? These questions are emerging for, could a realistic virtual Harbin be a large language model? How could we code it to become conscious? Science is partly about problem solving, so is intelligence. How to address the unknown, to do basic research in chemistry, physics, biology, in brain science, in consciousness, are all emerging in new ways, thanks to AI. World University and School helps to build on this, even in a realistic virtual Earth, a realistic virtual Harbin. Could we make these conscious? So agenda item 10, I think, World University and Schools online plan, 200 medical schools in 200 countries, and with related 200 online teaching hospitals. Could we create them in the teaching hospitals, not only online, but in Toyota ambulance vans? And with WUaS medical schools in these vans, with even telerobotic surgery, as the vans themselves as autonomous systems. And could we have also, could World University and School further code for MD doctors of surgery that are robots? So humanoid robots, THR3s, as professors of surgery, where the humanoid robots would be autonomous systems as well. And in doing so, and seeking to do this in 200 countries, how could we do this with the US State Department, which is in 196 countries, and which is part of the US federal government, and with all its other agencies, for a whole new approach to online medicine, online teaching hospitals with online medical robotics, with these systems autonomous. Larry's thoughts about that?
It's a big area, and it's going to take a long time, but a little bit at a time.
I had thought, I went into the University of Pittsburgh's Medical Center Hospital in Shadyside just yesterday, because I have an annual physical coming up next week. And I was wondering whether I would see any robots traveling down the halls.
No, well, maybe not.
And I thought that I might, that medical robotics is an exciting exploratory discipline in physical hospitals, and that in university hospitals itself them as well. And this is a university hospital. But you're right, Larry. I did not see a single robot in the halls. And yet I asked someone about it, a person who had been there for 40 years, who was helping me with some directions to get to where scope the office for my medical doctor's appointment, and who had known my mother when she was the director of social work there. And she said, yes, she thought there was medical robotics going on in Shadyside Hospital, but for surgery, for example. So not humanoid robots in the hallways, but medical robots in surgery. Interesting for potential outcomes, potential also adding them to Toyota ambulance vans in new ways. Not necessarily where these robotic surgery processes would be teachers or professors yet, but good to hear that it is happening. Robotics, medical robotics, surgery robotics is happening in UPMC Shadyside as a university hospital, and hopefully World University and School can compare or work with further, collaborate with the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center around medical robotics. And since University of Pittsburgh Medical Center is in 3 US states, for legal reasons too, for federal legal reasons too. They're in Maryland and West Virginia, in addition to Pennsylvania. Next agenda item, the WS News and question and answer recordings are available on the web. Check those out. Here we are at 12:41 with about 20 minutes to go. Agenda item 11, World University and School continues to seek to abide with the updated Google legal notices, changes to the Google Workspace acceptable use policy and Google Workspace for education terms of service, which email I just received yesterday. And hopefully we are complying. And this is an ongoing set of questions. But maybe we should we talk about, I wasn't, all of a sudden this legal notice, we got this legal notice and I wasn't sure.
Well, we got to absorb it first.
Okay.
We really make any progress.
Right. Agenda item 12, we talked about this in last month's business meeting in January, on I think the 18th of January, but that we're further in touch with Nepal World University and School, and potentially Tilak Reina Magar, who's interested in a free bachelor's degree. And we've been in touch with Mwende Ivande, who completed the CS First with Google at World University and School course from West Africa in Cameroon last spring, 2022. I think Tilak Reina Magar is taking the CS First with Google at World University and School Scratch programming course now, but I haven't heard from him since. But just to hear that there is great interest from people in other countries about potentially free bachelor's degrees, maybe starting this September, is a great development as World University and School seeks to accredit and license. Agenda item 13, we filled out the federal 990 card. We filed a tax card with the federal government in January. I think it cost $54.99 with a particular filing service, and we continue to develop our keep active our 501c3 tax-exempt charity status for World University and School. The record of that, from I think the U.S. government's perspective, is in guidestar.org. But guidestar.org isn't functioning completely very well yet. And it's an ongoing challenge to change things, and an ongoing challenge to grow with it as a record. So perhaps they're also, and I think they have some basis in Stanford University, waiting and developing as legal processes emerge for both state of California, but federal and maybe all 50 US states, and maybe with implications for the other 200 countries as well. Stay tuned. We continue to be a 501c3, and we welcome your donations to nonprofit 501c3 World University and School, and for this licensing and accreditation. Thoughts about that, and working and continuing to build on our 501c3 status, which has a slightly different number in guidestar.org. Just to keep, okay.
We've talked a lot about the 501c3. We haven't talked much about the corporation today.
Right. So before we get to the WUaS Corporation, one of the fascinating questions that has come to my mind regarding aging reversal and longevity genetics, and in a realistic virtual earth for genetics that World University and School would like to facilitate, and this is in a brainstorming way, is how to genetically engineer a single organism to live something like 250 million years into the future. This is sort of an engineering thinking challenge. Back 250 million years takes us to the emergence of the species and the genus Lysamander. And could we do this in a physical, digital, realistic virtual earth for longevity genetics, and include in that process aging reversal genetics in this digital world that could then affect our avatar bot electronic medical records? Maybe we'll be doing this in 250 when not only when when we're 250 years old, with upper limit
better, Amy.
with the upper limit of human documented life being 122 years. So in the remaining 15 minutes or so, I'd like to skip over the agenda items on the World University and School exempt side to get to the WUaS Corporation. Agenda item A, World University and School could be construed as a realistic virtual earth operating system company. So think Google Street View with Time Slider, Google Maps, Google Earth, TensorFlow AI, TensorStore, and even for batteries and chips, semiconductors, so that batteries could all work through this realistic virtual earth, say from a car or from homes, and have a digital component. And chips could be designed in this digital world, Internet of Things, and have physical component, be shipped out to manufacturing plants in any number of countries, and have an ongoing relationship between the physical chips that were made and the batteries that were physical batteries that were produced, and this realistic virtual earth as an operating system. Cars too, humanoid robots too, other kinds of robots as well. So like an operating system which can integrate a computer's hardware with applications and facilitate inputs and outputs of data. World University and School is a operating system itself for learning, with a physical digital component, could facilitate all kinds of new opportunities for the WUaS Corporation, such as batteries, or such as cars, that would be student homes, such as chips in students' computers, such as humanoid robot medicine professors. Thoughts about World University and School of the WS Corporation as an operating system?
That's a new one on me, so I'll have to stew in that a little bit.
Okay. It's a fascinating possibility. The Internet of Things has been talked about for decades, but it's not too much in my thinking these days. I don't see much in what I read and what I engage with on my computer regarding the Internet of Things. If Google Street View with Time Slider as World University and School campuses in all 200 countries, including for teaching and learning, and also factories and manufacturing, could become that aspect of an operating system for World University and School, the WS Corporation. Great, all kinds of productivity gains on the AI side in the digital space, and with regard to new developments with just all kinds of things, but including batteries, chips, semiconductors, humanoid robotics, autonomous vehicles, and similar, all for teaching and learning. Could our faculty and our researchers design these, just as maybe MIT is had a hand in setting up all their graduates have set up all kinds of companies that have created all kinds of possibilities for these developments in engineering developments in the physical world in remarkably innovative ways. Agenda item B, one of the questions that World University and School would like to explore further is how to create, possibly as an office, possibly as a home, a Toyota ProAce electric autonomous vehicle camping van. So as an office, as a home, as a campus, as a potential field site vehicle, and with also battery bicycles. Toyota has recently gotten into the bicycle business, the electrical bicycle business, with their remarkable design capacity. In what ways could the WS Corporation begin to help develop these as we seek to grow to hire 2.3 million people? And on the WS Corporation side, the educational services side, the bookstore, computer store, robotics store, hospital technologies, distribution centers. Thoughts about particular, potentially useful for students products like
yeah, somehow we got to focus that and take whatever we focus on and make it more active. At the moment, it's a lot too ephemeral.
Great. I mean, this might have to do with our first hire on the WS Corporation side. For example, a CEO, or pick a specific sort of teaching and learning robot that we wanted to realize, a Miko 3 into a study mate, chatbot AI, or THR3. Yeah, so how to make it more specific, more real, are other questions that are very long process toward accreditation and licensing in the state of Pennsylvania now, has sort of made emerged from. So agenda item C, for listing the WS Corporation on the Silicon Valley Long-Term Stock Exchange, and potentially in collaboration with Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency free money. There was a talk at University of Pittsburgh Philosophy Department a couple of weeks ago by Johanna Jauernig from I think from Munich, the Technical University of Munich, and the Ludwig Maximilian University. She has degrees from. I've also been a student at LMU in 1981-82. And her research and her Pit philosophy talk was about that people prefer moral discretion to algorithms. They prefer a human in the loop to algorithms making medical decisions, decisions about debt and loan, etc. And that the subtitle of her paper was Algorithm Aversion Beyond Intransparency, Lack of Transparency. So title of her paper was People Prefer Moral Discretion to Algorithms, Algorithm Aversion Beyond Intransparency. And she attempted to bring forth some experimental work where I think students in Munich had come in and they had been taking these surveys and these digital surveys that assess their appreciation for algorithms. And one of the questions that emerges for me out of this, and even possibly as a set of academic studies, is could one develop an algorithm appreciation study and around Stanford MindPy? When you can get free money daily by clicking 2 buttons and engaging those algorithms, could we begin to study that as algorithm appreciation regardless of moral discretion? And Stanford MindPy is on our smartphones. It's a company, I think, out of California, coded for by Stanford PhDs. So it's not affiliated with a bank. It's not affiliated with with any other. I mean, it will have a relationship with the state of California's Franchise Tax Board, but I'll show you Stanford MindPy in a second. But it's very much an application that's distributed in the way information technologies are distributed. So there's no central authority, there's no central control. It doesn't have moral discretion. There's no one behind it, as I understand it, in its algorithms, that as we get Stanford MindPy every day, if we choose to do this work by clicking 2 buttons for less than 25 seconds and getting 5 to 6 PiCoin for free, which you can't yet buy anything with, and which you can't also buy stock of for Stanford MindPy yet, like you could with Bitcoin or maybe Ethereum cryptocurrencies. So this is what Stanford MindPy looks like. Could we even help seek to roll out, and this is the amount of PiCoins that I've accumulated or aggregated, and to the right of the decimal point is the numbers keep increasing to infinity. So it's an ongoing Pi application that's generating value for free out of computer science. I'm appreciative, but I think we could study an appreciation for this among people in all 200 countries, among speakers of all 7,000 languages, maybe as a way to distribute and end poverty as well. If Johanna Jauerig's Pit philosophy talk was about people don't like algorithms, they want a human in the loop, and Stanford MindPy out of visionary computer science California can create these new processes where people can benefit from algorithms tremendously with money, maybe we have an opportunity to rewrite some of the Pit philosophy questions she had and create new papers about algorithm appreciation.
I think we could start by changing a word. The word algorithm is too off-putting to most people. They don't understand what it is. They don't use the word in any other context. We need a different word.
An algorithm is can be conceived of as a black box with an input and an output. This is something I think I learned in Shadyside Academy High School here in Pittsburgh long ago. One of the questions further regarding these studies is maybe change the word. It's also maybe synonymous with computer science. Computer science is algorithms in some ways. One of the questions I wondered about further with regard to this Stanford MindPy would be, could the Ludwig Maximilian University and Technical University of Munich actually administer Stanford MindPy both in Germany, but for the WUaS Corporation, and administer academic studies, and also in World University and Schools relationship with Wikidata, which is out of Berlin. Could they do the database work for all 7.9 billion people as the WUaS Corporation sought to end poverty? And the computer science work is involved, but with the MIT Digital Currency Initiative's Neha Narula, executive director, it's there. And Stanford MindPy is there. But to organize around it information technologically, maybe by networking with Johanna Jaunig, are interesting questions too. Could the WUaS Corporation list Stanford MindPy on the Silicon Valley Long-Term Stock Exchange, and could LMU and TMU be some of the coders, the computer scientists, the programmers, as we seek to reach all 7.9 billion people? Stay tuned. We're at 1. Let's see. WUaS Press, I'm planning to write another book, Society and Information Technology in the Global University, for 2023, published by the Academic Press at World University and School, which is what the WUaS Corporation has been about initially, and seeking to potentially translate that into all 200 countries' main languages with machine translation, maybe as a way to earn money. Books can be about how the information age started, and also the implications for the global university for free degrees and wiki schools. Agenda item E. We've talked about this on the nonprofit side, plan 200 WUaS medical schools with online teaching hospitals and autonomous systems in potentially all 200 countries and for speakers of all 7,000 languages, possibly with the US State Department. As Larry mentioned a couple of months ago, when I've been talking with Tim Lenderking, who's the US special envoy to the country of Yemen in the Middle East. I visited him in, he's a senior foreign service diplomat in the US State Department. I visited him in New Hampshire last August for 4 days, and we've been hiking along the C&O Canal twice this past autumn. He's expressed great interest in World University and School in Yemen, and US State Department and World University and School. How to engage that further? What Larry suggested was wait for them to come to us. I was going to go hiking again with my friend from Reed College, Tim Lenderking, tomorrow, but I have a foot issue, and I'm going to put that off. We're still waiting to hear from US State Department or the federal government about growing World University and School. And as we seek to get the money together for licensing and accrediting on the nonprofit side. Any thoughts about hearing back from the US State Department? Okay.
I think that's a good place to stop, because you've made the pitch again. If we'd like to encourage even small donations and aggregate them into the $5,000, $6,000 we need.
So I'll just reiterate what Larry just said. World University and School would like to encourage small donations and so that we could aggregate them to help pay for the state of Pennsylvania Department of Education licensure fee. of $5,000 and the $1,500 pre-application fee for Middle States Commission on Higher Education. So thank you, Larry. Thank you, everyone. This is an open World University and School monthly business meeting. Next one is third Saturday of March. Please come and join us at 12 noon. World University and School's Twitter feed is twitter.com/WORLD, And our academic press, WS Corporation, is twitter.com/WUaS PRESS. info@worlduniversityandschool.org is our email address, with an invitation to connect with us, to inquire about these free degrees, to let students know that that's how they could get these free degrees. So info@worlduniversityandschool.org is the email address. Worlduniversityandschool.org is the homepage. And until next month, thank you. And thank you, Larry. This is monthly business meeting in February of 2023. Bye for now.